that was coming into your screen into 05 corner there, but here is our leader. 05, number 05 in the 05 500.
Peter Brock, who's won this race 9 times previously, out for his 10th win today. Dick Johnson would love to be there when the checkered flag comes down because he's yet to win the Sandown Classic. Have a look at the style of Brock in the ovals. Beautiful, smooth pampering of the steering wheel, weaving his way through some of the slower cars. A very comfortable gap.
It's Peter Mackay in one of the Toyota Corollas. But Peter's just gone through, Peter Brock that is, has just gone past. And that car, in fact, is leading the C-Class cars, that's the smallest category. And the little BMW that's just gone past them also, and being lapped also by Peter Brock, is the only entry in Class B, and that's the BMW M3 of Brett Riley and Ludwig Finau, and Brett Riley in the car at the moment. So they've got the very nice prospect of, if they finish, they must win their class.
Brock heads through the kink on the back straight underneath the Motorcraft scoreboard and on his way up the hill. Big crowd on top of the hill. Now that the Light Car Club of Australia have decided to go back to the 3.1 kilometre sprint circuit, that very, very popular spot at the top of the hill has regained its popularity, and it's being one of the best positions to view motor racing in the whole of Australia.
Peter Brock just avoiding what is becoming a real danger on this particular day because of the weather conditions, and that is unfortunately bits of rubbish flying around the circuit. That can be very awkward if it gets in the radiator intake of a car. It can certainly produce overheating. It's happened in long distance races before. So Peter Brock would be hoping that that wouldn't be his fate today, as indeed no one would want it to be. But with this tremendous wind, there is a lot of debris flying around on the day. 6 seconds in front. So certainly is being a commanding performance so far by Peter Perfect. And Jones really starting to pressure Glenn Seaton now. He's really giving him no quarter at all. So Glenn Seaton wouldn't be able to relax one bit as they come down the front straight once again with this very generous tailwind. And Jones doing the same thing, getting out into the breeze, having a look, but not nearly close enough to try a braking manoeuvre that time.
This is one of the youngest drivers in the race today, Glenn Seaton, at 24 years of age, battling it out with one of the most experienced drivers, ex-world champion at 43 years of age, Alan Jones. Seaton in 30, ahead of Jones as they head up the back straight once again. Jones put the pressure on as they go over the hill. Certainly looks as though he may, looking for an inside running, comes right up on the tail of Seaton's car, not able to find a way past, not having the pace to get away past. Seaton very busy behind the wheel, as is Alan Jones.
It's a good shot there of the left-hand drive Sierra. Jones looking again.
Goes through on the inside of the right-hander. That's a very tight corner. We don't normally see passing on that tight right-hander, but the experience of Alan Jones showed out and he snuck through. It's the tight right-hander coming up to the pit area, and Alan Jones picks up a position from Glenn Seaton. Jim Richards, expatriate New Zealander.
No, actually, that is the one there. You can see the material that's got caught in underneath. Oh, as a matter of fact,
No,
that's a bit more than material.
That's a hose of some sort that's come loose. Could be just a hose that's ducting air into the engine or into the cockpit.
Or the brakes, and it could well be part of a ducting for the brakes.
Jimmy Richards with a little problem. They're charging on the leading Nissan Skyline.
Most of the teams are expected to make 2 stops in this race for fuel and tyres, and of course one of those, well, both of them probably will be driver changes as well. Jim Richards was psyching the other teams out at the press conference yesterday afternoon by saying that the Nissan team might go through on one. I don't think anyone believed him. But that's something that the team will certainly have a look at when he comes in for his first stop.
There's Fury, there's Brad Jones, and there's Win Percy, locked together, 9th, 10th and 11th placings, having their own little race. Certainly not out of contention.
But this is Richards. There you can see quite clearly the whatever that is, that material hanging down. Now here's the real dice of the moment between Richards' teammate George Fury, Brad Jones and Win Percy. The three of them are nose to tail.
Locked together, battling it out for 9th, 10th and 11th placings. Might sound a little bit far down at this point of the race, but with pit stops to come, they're still well in contention and still worth pushing ahead for. George Fury, Brad Jones, with Win Percy right behind them in the leading Commodore. Fury pulls away from Jones marginally as they come down the main straight. Once again, they bunch up together in the braking area, almost nose to tail in the tight left-hander.
Up to what is a very difficult part of the circuit. It's a very tight chicane. To get through the chicane, you really have to make the first part of it, the right-hand corner, the best part of it. You just got to forget the second part. You just got to scrabble through it. You can't get both right. And then line yourself up for 05 corner, which is a very important corner to get you onto the back straight as quickly as possible. So it's a very awkward chicane. It really does slow the cars down most effectively before they reach that T intersection almost, which is the fence overlooking the dam.
Bradley Jones catching up dramatically on George Fury up the back straight that time, right on his heels as they go through Dandenong Road corner. Our race leader Peter Brock has completed 25 laps as Win Percy has a look on the inside of Brad Jones. Ooh, almost nose to tail there, pushing Brad Jones along. Percy wants to get out of 11th position. He wants to get into the top 10 and almost did it then. Those two looking at each other have allowed George Fury to pull away marginally. They charge down the main straight. That's the thoroughfare car of Chris Lambden, the blue Commodore.
Now Win Percy's down the inside of Jones and just he's got him. Yeah, got him quite comprehensively that time.
Oh, no, he hasn't. Jones comes back and heading up towards this tight right-hander in the chicane, gets Win Percy back and takes 10th place back. So Win Percy was in the top 10 for all of about 50 metres that time round. Up the back straight they head once again. These are the two that were doing the battle, with Win Percy dropping back a little bit. The Commodores don't have the grunt of the Ford Sierras. So he's not doing a bad job, considering it's such a big car in such a hefty headwind. Win Percy up on the inside at the top of the hill. It looks like he's going to take the Commodore through this time, and certainly does. Win Percy back into 10th place. Can Bradley Jones take it back once again? George Fury pulls away. He gets past one of the slower cars. So in his 9th place, he's moved away from the battling Win Percy and Brad Jones. Look at the traffic in front of him. That's was Fury on the left-hand side. This is Brad Jones right on the heels of Win Percy. One of the little Toyotas in their way. Win Percy's got a better run coming out onto the main straight, but does Bradley Jones have the grunt down the main straight?
Well, we'll soon see.
Pulls away.
Has had to give way this time. And there's Win Percy in the Commodore, the leading Commodore, one of the two works Commodores in this race.
Into the top 10, in 10th position, Win Percy. And now has to try and do battle with George Fury, who's come back a little bit and is certainly in the sights of Win Percy. An evil-looking paint scheme on those Commodores.
Yes, it's quite effective on television and looks good in real life, actually.
That's Fury, that's Win Percy. Up over the top once again with Chris Lambden just in front of them in the Borough Pairs car.
It's going to hold up Fury for a momentary.
Should get the chance out on the little short straight underneath the Dunlop Bridge. No, doesn't do so. Yes, he does. Foot flat down and gets past Chris Lambden.
That's exactly what he wanted. He wanted Percy to be held up by Lambden just for a moment and allow him to scarper away just a little bit.
Lambden pointing to Win Percy to go round the left-hand side as he does so down the main straight. Percy now out chasing George Fury once again.
You can see what that pause has done. He's dropped him back 2 or 3 car lengths. He got him out of the slipstream, and that meant that he was out of the pressure for just another lap at least. So Brad Jones now has to do that manoeuvre as well. Decides very wisely not to try it on the inside of 05 corner. And now Lambden pulls the Commodore out of the way, lets Brad Jones go through and rejoin the chase.
Dick Johnson and Medicki locked together through the S's. Very fast part of the track. Medicki comes up close to Dick Johnson once again. This is the right time to hang on his tail because another 1.5 corners and they're onto the main straight. If you can get that slipstream down the main straight, it could take over third position from Dick Johnson. Not quite close enough. Dick Johnson just holds his position so that Medicki can't jump over and try an inside run.
Again, Medicki up on the curb. He's using the curb a bit at the moment, is Andrew. Oh, lock of brake for Johnson, but it was a back brake, so that's usually not as much a problem. Talking to John Harvey, who manages the Holden team yesterday afternoon, he said that they were thinking of changing their brake pads at the first stop, while they wouldn't be quite as hot and
Medicki
quite
having
used.
a go this time.
Oh,
They're
yes.
side by side at the top of the hill. Johnson's got the inside running for the S's, not able to get past. Almost from Andrew Medicki this time. He wants that third place and certainly is trying side by side up the top of the hill at the end of the back straight, but not able to get past. Alan Jones going a little wide that time, coming out of the left-hander at Dandenong Road corner. So Dick Johnson hanging on to his third place for the moment. Andrew Medicki wants that third place and is doing everything he possibly can to take it away from Dick Johnson. Down the main straight once again.
Johnson's got a bit of a gap. That's a nice little buffer for him. Let's see how much Andrew can make up under brakes. There's Alan Jones just sitting back and watching all this. It's certainly an armchair position for him to be watching this great battle between these two Sierras. Whoops, and up on the curb for Alan Jones too.
Both cars behind Dick Johnson using all of the track. It appears to be a little bit smoother than either Medicki or Alan Jones. As Medicki comes for a charge once again, nowhere near as close up the back straight this time round. And Dick Johnson will head into the S's without Andrew Medicki beside him.
They all get through that Commodore. They're lapping right in the right spot, just before they have to really slow it down for the corner at the bottom of the hill there. So Johnson got away from them this time. He's got a nice little buffer there. That will take a little bit of pressure off him for probably at least a lap. Here's Alan Jones, ex-world champion Formula One driver, has dabbled quite often in touring cars since he's come back to live in Australia permanently, mainly in an Alpha, and then he had a third place with Colin Bond in last year's Bathurst race, also in the Sierra, and here again, this time sharing a drive with another ex-world champion, Denny Hulme, in the second of the Benson and Hedges Sierras. Well, that's a traffic jam and a half as Seaton comes down the inside. Not quite on the inside of Waldock, who politely slams the door in his face and leaves Jimmy Richards with the excellent opportunity of closing right up on the back of Glenn Seaton. Seaton coming up to 05 corner, still with Waldock to get by.